So, in the Bible, it tells us that John the Baptist, that was Jesus' cousin. John the Baptist, Jesus' cousin. Jesus' cousin. The one that prepared the way for Jesus, the one that was baptizing people out in the wilderness, telling them to prepare the way because the Messiah is coming or is here already. We're talking about John the Baptist, the one whose parents were visited by an angel. And the angel told them, you're going to have a son and you're going to name him John. We're talking about John the Baptist that was anointed from birth while he was in his mom's womb. We're talking about John the Baptist where when Mary, who is or was Jesus' mother, when she was pregnant, she decided she was going to visit her cousin Elizabeth. And when Elizabeth, who is John's mother, when they were in each other's vicinity, John, who was still in the womb of his Elizabeth, leaped for joy in his mama's womb when Jesus came around. We're talking about John that understood and had a connection with the Lord Jesus Christ before he was even born. We're talking about that John. That John was the same John that when he was imprisoned by Herod for speaking up against his foul relationship, he knew his time was coming. Oh, he was about to be beheaded. He was alone. At this point, he had really no disciples, or very little, because that John, when Jesus came on a scene, said, I must decrease so Jesus may increase. He pawned away, I like to say it like that, he pawned away his disciples and said, no, follow him, follow Jesus. I'm here just to point you to the Messiah, and he's here now. You all can follow him. We're talking about that John that was sold out for Jesus to the point of setting off his fame, his name, so that Jesus can be glorified. That same John, while he's in jail, asks a question that based on what we just described John to be, you would think, wow, that John? Yes, that John said in his moment of loneliness and sadness, he said, is he the one, or should we look for another? Is Jesus really the Messiah, or should we look for another? Is he really the one we've been looking for? Is he really the one that has been prophesied about since the Old Testament? Is he that one? Is he the one that I've literally given my entire life and devoted my life to? Is he the one? Was I wrong in this thing? Should we look for another? Is he really the one? It was a moment of doubt. You know, so often we hear people say that doubt will not get you anywhere with God. And I believe I know what they're trying to say. Really, I think what they're trying to say, if you walk in doubt, you cannot receive from God. The doubt in itself is the essence of just grappling with faith. Doubt is grappling with what you have committed to. Faith, remember, is something that's unseen. Doubt is grappling with the reality of the fact that you're moving forward towards something that you don't know or you cannot see. Now, if you walk in doubt, it will cause you to turn back around. But while you're walking in faith, doubt will present itself. And you will have questions. To me, the responsible Christian who is really trying to understand what it means to be a Christian and follow God, if they don't grapple with their faith and ask questions, I don't understand what kind of Christian they are. If you're in a relationship with someone and you're committed to be with them, if in that relationship no question ever comes up, no misunderstanding ever comes up, then I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't get that. Because part of us becoming Christians and becoming like Christ is getting to know who he is. And we don't know who he is, so he asks. We're challenged by what he tells us to do. We ask questions. And here is John asking, is he the one? How did I get here? I am in jail. I'm about to die. Is he the one? This is not what I thought it was going to look like. I wonder what John thought it was going to look like. And the prophecies that were made about Jesus, if you and I are living in the Old Testament time period and we're reading those prophecies, we're thinking just like most, if not all, of the Israelites and the Jews thought. Jesus was going to come as the great Messiah. He was going to rescue them from the oppression that they were under. Roman oppression, really the oppressions throughout their history, from Babylonian oppression, Assyrians, you name it. And now here, Roman oppression. John was probably thinking, oh man, I'm on the Lord's side. And when he comes, he's going to tear this Roman Empire down. He's going to make it work. If nothing else, that's what Peter thought. He was fully committed to Jesus, but I wonder what he thought it was going to turn out, or how it would turn out. I wonder what it meant, for what he thought following Jesus meant. I wonder what he thought the end game would look like here on earth. Because that question lets us know that somewhere along the line, things started looking a little different than he had envisioned. How did I get here? Is he the one? Did I make a mistake? Did I literally risk my entire livelihood? I was living out in the wilderness, eating berries, calling out the Pharisees, calling out Herod and his relationships. And this is what I get. This is what it looks. This is why I was doing this? Did I make a mistake? Is he the one? Man, have you ever felt like John? I know I have. Did I really hear God? Did I really hear him? I'm out here. I'm doing what I felt God has called me to do. But this doesn't look like it's profitable. Nothing is coming to an end. Nothing is coming together. Things just seem to be slipping out of my grasp. I don't understand, how did I get here? The more I trust, the worse it gets. How did I end up here? Did I really hear him? Should I go back to Egypt? Can you imagine the Israelites, after being enslaved in Egypt for over 400 years? There's this guy named Moses that says, let's get up out of here and go to the promised land. I mean, you're on the bandwagon. You're like, yes, I am fully committed to this man Moses. It sounds like he knows what he's talking about. I'm down. Let's get up out of this oppressed place that we're in. This bondage. To freedom? To a promised land? Let's go. And then along the way, soon as you leave the place of bondage, of slavery, you find yourself in the wilderness. You find yourself in a place that parallels the place you just left. And at this point, you have no one to blame. See, when you were in Egypt, you could have blamed it on your oppressors. You could blame it on the Egyptians. You could blame it on the fact that you're living under someone else's fault. You're the victim. That's why your life is going the way it is. Because you're oppressed. Things are not going your way. It's not because of you. It's because of the influences and the things around you. So you can blame it on them and that. But when you come up out of that place and you say, I'm going to the promised land. I'm getting up out of this place of sadness, of brokenness. And I'm going to a place of deliverance and joy. And you leave that place and you end up in the wilderness. Who is there to blame at that point? When you feel the same way in the wilderness as you did in Egypt, who's to blame now? The Israelites said, I'd rather be back in Egypt. At least we were getting something to eat. If I'm going to be sad and depressed, I'd rather be sad and depressed in Egypt than to be sad and depressed in the wilderness, thinking that I'm going the way that the Father, the Lord Jesus Christ, has told me to go. Thinking that I heard him speak to me. Thinking that we're going to the promised land. I got up and left Egypt to get to the promised land. In between, it looks dry. It feels dry. I wonder how Abraham felt when him and his wife heard they were going to have a child. They waited and waited and waited. It didn't look like it, so they decided to take matters into their own hands. Guys, doubt is when we struggle with our faith. The fact that we're even struggling with our faith means that we're taking our faith seriously enough to even work through it. There are a lot of people who don't even struggle with their faith. Doubt comes, they walk in it. But when you find yourself struggling and grappling with what God told you, that means you took it seriously enough to try to make it work, to try to walk in it. A fight is a resistance. So the fact that you're fighting, that means you're resisting. You're resisting doubt. Yes, it's there. It's in your mind. It's in your heart. But you're resisting it. And that's the beautiful thing about this. I just know for me, I have been in a place where I asked myself, did God really tell me to come this way? Is it me? Did I do this? Was this one of my ideas? Is this an ACOM thing? Is this really God? Did I really hear him? Where am I going? What is this supposed to look like? Because what I thought it looked like, what I thought it would look like is not panning out. I'm sure Israelites did not think they were going to be in the wilderness for 40 years. I'm sure they thought, oh, we're going to leave Egypt and be up in the promised land and enjoy life and live happily ever after. I'm sure John the Baptist, when he was proclaiming Jesus Christ, I'm sure he saw Jesus, the Messiah, as the one who would come and rule here on earth, like most Jews saw him to be, or thought him to be. I'm sure he thought that he was going to come and change things up for him and for his people, the Jews. But now he's in jail. Have you ever felt that way? where God called you to something, you've committed to it, and in your mind you have an understanding of what you think it would look like. There's nothing wrong with that. But as you walk in that faithful walk, nothing pans out the way you thought it would. What do you do? Is he the one, or should we look for another? Is this the way, or should I go back to Egypt? Is this the way, or should I quit? I don't think there's an easy answer, y'all. But let me tell you something. John sent 2 of his close disciples to relay this message to Jesus. Okay? When Jesus heard this, oh man, his cousin John, he understood. He didn't condemn him. Oh, you're doubting me. No. He didn't condemn him. He felt compassionate for him. And you know what he did? He told his disciples, John's disciples, go back and tell John, the lame can walk, the blind can see. The miracles I'm performing is the confidence that you know that I am the one. I am the one that was spoken about in the book of Isaiah. I'm opening the eyes of the blind. Yes, it is me. You did not make a mistake. And not only that, Jesus also turned around to the crowd and said that John was the greatest of all people born of a woman. That means he's the greatest to ever be born. What does that even mean? I don't know. But I can tell you this much. If Jesus is saying that, that's a big deal. And Jesus says this right in the moment after John was struggling with doubt. Why would Jesus give him such a high accolade in the moment where John was struggling with doubt? If doubt was so bad, if doubt was so against God where he would turn his back on us, why was that? Because here's the thing. John was human and he wasn't walking in doubt. He remained in the prison. He just wanted to make sure that the one that he was with, that when he died, he knew he was dying for the right cause. God is not against us wanting to make sure is not even the right word. I would say God is not against us grappling with our faith, grappling with what we see, and asking him questions. God applauds that because it means we're taking this thing seriously. Imagine someone in school and you're learning a new subject. It's a hard subject. The teacher's up there teaching it. A lot of folks seem like they don't understand. And because they don't understand, they tend to, brush it off and say, you know what, the heck with this. But then there are a few students in the corner with their faces squinted. And you can see on their face that they're struggling and grappling to understand the concepts of this new challenging subject matter. A few of them raise their hands and they ask questions. I don't get it. Why is this? They're asking questions because they are engaged in the study, trying to make sense of it, as opposed to just saying, I don't get it, whatever, let it go. Usually the ones that ask questions are the ones really trying to better themselves. Jesus wants us to ask questions. Jesus wants us to grapple with this thing and ask questions. Because we're not supposed to get it. Our flesh is not supposed to understand it. So by you not even asking a single question, it almost makes the teacher know that you don't care. You're not even really thinking about this. You're not even putting it to heart. So John was given an applaud. That's my A student right there. That's my A student. He's really working hard to try to get this thing. And it's not an easy thing to get. I applaud you, John. You're my A student. Thank you for raising your hand and asking a question that everyone wants to ask. You're my A student. So is this the one? Is he the one, or should we look for another? It's okay to ask. Did I make the right decision? Did I make the right decision? Did I go the wrong way? God, did you really call me to this thing? And just like Jesus sending that report back to John in prison, he's going to answer you. In some way, shape, or form, he will answer you and you will know it. Your situation may not change as John's did not. But hearing the report of the Lord Jesus Christ, answering him and saying, oh yeah, I'm the one, and confirming that, I believe was enough for John. Along the way, y'all, we're going to get so frustrated. We'll get frustrated. If you don't ever get frustrated with this thing, you're not in it. You're not in it yet. If you haven't gotten frustrated with this faith walk, you're not in it yet. You haven't even started the journey. You haven't started the journey. But when you do get frustrated, ask him. He's okay with that. That lets him know you're in it to win it. He knows your heart, and he will respond. All right, y'all. That's all I got. I was driving, so that's probably why I didn't look at the camera so much. But I hope this helps. Like I said, a lot of this videos are for me, and you all get to share really what God is working in my heart. So hopefully it helps you as much as it helped me. All right, y'all. Be easy.